live. My boy Billy. Billy White Shoes. See his white shoes? Can't see nothing. I can't see shit. We ain't found shit. Combing the desert, sir. Just a great movie. John fucking Candy. I mean, Mel Brooks, Rick. I mean, just a all-star cast. An all natural honey candle. The Flying Burrito Brothers. Gilded Palace of Sin. Get that album. It's basically greatest hits. You will like it. And if you don't, you're just a square, man. Flying Burrito Brothers. Gilded Palace of Sin. What do you say, Billy? Great album or what? Exactly. See that? He knows. I've made him listen to it a lot. He knows the pleasures of it at this point. Great album. Great album. Hot Burrito, number 1 and 2. Sin City. Christine's Tune. Is that on there? I think so. It opens the greatest. The first Burrito Brothers album I got was the greatest hits. And it's the greatest hits. Excuse me. That the last song on it is an outtake of him singing, Graham Parsons singing I Shall Be Released, but just like a verse. And then at the end, he's putting his guitar. He's like, do you think they'll miss it if I don't play my guitar or something? You know, and it's kind of, what would you call it, bittersweet because he died. So just a few years later, but just from being a fuck up. He was a trust fund kid. His dad or his grandfather owned a big orange groves plantation. I don't know, but on the grounds of what became Cypress Gardens. I guess the main, I've never been there, but the house, it's a big, you know, it was bigger in the 50s and 60s, I think. I think it's still there, but he owned that house, I guess, and sold that land and became Cypress Gardens. But that, and I guess back in the late 60s, Graham was a trust fund kid, you know, went to Harvard, only lasted a year, but he was getting like, I think it's actually in the book, like he was getting $25,000 a year from his trust fund, which in 1960, what's that equivalent? Like basically having like 100 grand, probably even more. So, you know, there was a lot of resentment with a guy like that because you go out to California and a lot of people just take that leap of faith and go and got nothing. And there he was a kid who never had to worry about money, you know. That's like famously, he was in the Birds for a short time. I don't even think it was a full year, but he was on Sweetheart of the Rodeo, which is credited as being the first country rock album. Billy, calm down, brother. And they went over to they were due to play Sun City in South Africa, which was the apartheid state. This is 1968. So they were in England and they met the Stones. And the Stones told them, you know, the British, you know, like as in today, they're much more culturally aware and sensitive. Basically, they're idiots. But they told him, you can't go there, man. That's an apartheid state. And you can't go and support them. And Graham Parsons quit the group and stayed in England. And the rest of the band went and played because they needed the money still. You know, Roger McGuinn and Chris Hillman and whoever else was in the band at that point. And then he went on to form the Burrito Brothers. Chris Hillman ended up leaving the Birds and starting the Burrito Brothers with him. That first album, you see the Burrito Brothers if you watch Gimme Shelter, the Stones movie about the 69 tour in Altamont. They show the Burrito Brothers at Altamont playing 6 days on the road, and it's just fucking great. Sneaky Pete Kleinow on the steel guitar. Just awesome. Break My Mind. Listen to that one. I think it's like a Roy Orbison tune. But I first heard it with the Burrito Brothers. I think it's a minute and 59 seconds or 2 minutes and 5 seconds. I used to make a lot of cassettes. I go back to the days of cassettes. And or like, you have your dead tapes, 90-minute Max L, and you have a little bit at the end. And I would just get into like fill in every space to the end, So sometimes you could see on the tape it'd only be a little bit, so I'd time it, you know. I'd literally take a timer and time it, to be like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And I'd have a stack of CDs and I'd just find a song that I really liked that was under that and fill it. So that's how I would get to know like time lengths. I don't know. That one sticks out. I think it's 2 minutes and 5 seconds. But God, what a tune, baby. Oh, baby, tell the man at the ticket line that you change your mind. I can't play guitar anymore. I guess that doesn't work. When I start playing guitar, the microphone, there's some setting. I don't know if YouTube is sabotaging me or if I hit something. And I can't see hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. If you're still here, I can't see with my glasses. And I'm just fucking rapping. So, it's not really a two-way thing. Not in a bad way. Occasionally I'll look, but I'm just kind of rambling and playing guitar and stuff. But anyway, I believe, unless it's not doing that, which I'll listen a little later maybe, but like I'd start playing guitar and you can't hear the guitar. Ah. Homegrown's all right with me. Homegrown is the way it should be. Homegrown is a good thing. Play that bell and let it ring. So I think I kind of hit me today that I got this job that just sucks. And the company's all right. And there's nothing about the job just sucks. It's not necessarily, like I'm working outside in 95-degree heat. And it's not all that, I just kind of run a forklift but I also do like groundskeeping tasks and I'm just too old for that in the heat. So it's that sort of suck, like the company, it's a pretty good company and stuff, but it's just not what I want to be doing or really even almost can do anymore. It's like really hot and uncomfortable here in Florida. And if you have no idea, if you're look at me, it's and again, it's not that I just use that let that that's just kind of a catch-all generalization. People get all upset when I don't I and when I know it upsets people, I'm going to continue to use it. But when you say suck, it's not like this. It just sucks. It's not really anybody's fault because it's a job that has to be done where it has to be done and really how it has to be done. But it sucks. It's not enjoyable. It's not inspirational. It's not aspirational. And that's not blaming anybody or anything like that. But I am kind of I just so I've decided I'm like 8 9 months into it. And thankfully there's no real panic or anything, but I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to live like this. This ain't no fun. And I just want to see if I can find a job that can be fun and enjoyable. And whether somehow that ends up being high paying, woohoo. And if it ends up being $16 an hour, but it's cool being there every day, all day, woohoo. But that's about where I'm at. I'm never gonna, it's just not gonna happen for me. I just can't play any game, and I can't. It's not like you have to choose. I can't because even if I do for a few weeks, I can't. I'll do something. I just am impatient and intolerant and stubborn, and But there are things. There's something. There's several things out there that, and I can't list them for you. I'll know them when I'm doing it. Obviously any music thing would be pretty good, but I worked in a record store in the Boston area, a very famous chain. Good chain. I bought a lot of my CDs there, but I didn't even fit in there, man. I'm like the biggest music lover, but it was just like I was in beta land, and the type of kids who just because you're kind of a big and athletically built kid, which I was much more at that time. You're kind of frowned on. I think that was one of the bigger problems. I don't even know if I had time to piss anybody off. Seriously. It's like 2 days into it, and it's like you're getting fucking dirty looks and shit. It's like, what? What? Because I had no problem grabbing a stack of CDs and going and stocking them in the thing. I did not have to twist my arm to want to do that or help people out. Yeah. And when you have an experience like that, you're like, "Damn, I thought I was doing everything that I who go to record stores regularly want out of the people who work there, and I thought I was doing all that." And it seemed like I just didn't fit in. I don't fit in many places. I've learned to like it. I'm proud that I basically do not ever follow the crowd. And sometimes that means when you're in a crowd. I'm a good person have to be behind when if you're like at a big event, and my friends can attest to that. Maybe I'm not easily distracted or something. What is that? See, this is fucking annoying. Ah. Ugh. Does that still go when I'm doing that? Let's see what's going on. Anybody here? No. But that's my quest to just try and find a job. That's cool. I'm contemplating trying to go work at Disney again. Not sure what I could do. I have this thing about Disney. I like the history of it, and I like the safety of it, but they have just about choked any spontaneity out of the experience. The Disney, the way they do shit. And like the kid got eaten by the alligator, so that nobody can go near the water anymore. Shit like that. It sucked. It's a tragedy, but just it's over for everybody's shit. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, um, the thing I like it. I just like it. Although a lot of it annoys me now, the policy wise and stuff, and guest wise. But I'm a big lover of nature and being outside, and especially out here out west, Joshua trees and stuff. And I get annoyed by the fake, all the fake shit. Like they literally have like a fake tree in Animal Kingdom. With the all those cool things, and it's all the animals in the bark or whatever. But But just the I'm not it's weird because I love the Disney, but it really isn't about, like, any of the fantasy and stuff for me. It's more the Walt Disney, the guy who kinda coming up with it all and how they make it work. It's a weird thing. And I never really thought about it too much, like, what but I'm not, like, goo goo about any fucking of the character like Mickey Mouse or anything, you know? I like the symbolism of it, and I Donald Duck would, I guess, be my favorite, you know? But, I do remember seeing Robin Hood in the theaters as a young kid. Billy Barkley's birthday, I believe. Me and Andy and Trary we were best friends all growing up, and we were just cutting up. There was a Lassie movie beforehand, and then Robin Hood. I think that was the same. And we were just the Lassie movie was old, and it was. I just remember we just were laughing. Mr. Barkley was so badass. Things were funny, and but I like that Robin Hood movie where he was the fox and the king was the snake. Good stuff. But that was, like, the only Disney movie I saw, no exaggeration. I don't know if I've ever I think I finally bought a DVD of The Jungle Book, like, in the last 10 years. I don't think I ever saw that growing up. Like, sat down and saw it. I may have seen parts of it or something, but we used to watch, like but I grew up in the '70s, and the Walt Disney Show used to be on Saturday nights on ABC, but there were repeats because he was dead, obviously. But the ones where he'd introduce it, and I remember going to Disney World, but we used to go every April vacation, and the first time my dad was just toying with my emotions. Our emotions were probably hit me the most. I was, like we're making a plan to go. We had the jar we had to fill with money, and we weren't. And then also, oh, we're not going. All that shit, which is funny to me now, but it was like, what? We're not going. You're fucking. He was great. Every year we went, we stayed at all the hotels. They weren't. There was only, but they had like the treehouse, which are still there, I believe. The trio, I'm not sure, but I think they are. But that was a big thing to stay at, and the golf resort, which he loved because he played golf. But we stayed at the Contemporary once, Polynesian, I believe. I'm pretty confident we did. I don't know. Pretty sure we did. That was it. That's all that was there then. Golf resort, the treehouse villas. Yeah, we must have stayed at the Polynesian thing because we stayed at the golf resort the most, probably. God, we used to stay there like a week. Obviously, wasn't like it is now. It's ridiculous. They don't care. I mean, it's people willing, myself included, to spend more than you can afford to go there and hang out there. And Disney don't give a fuck. And they know that's happening. I mean, the way they do shit and you get caught up. I got caught up in the pins for a few years. They're just always putting out a set randomly, two per thing, and you end up needing one piece and you fucking buy like 50 packs. Not didn't quite get that bad, but it was pretty bad. It adds up quick. But don't get me wrong, any sensible person, you get every show, every park except the Animal Kingdom has fireworks every night. There's musical acts going on, in Epcot, all over the place, every park. Well, at least Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and they're good. The Dapper Dans in Magic Kingdom, they sing the a cappella, tell the jokes. That's the barbershop quartet. They're fucking legit. Mariachi Cobra's good. They usually have a competent, kind of a goofy Canadian shit over, and it's like Canadian folk and rock, which we don't take that seriously, do we? Over in Canada, but they're good. They used to have a really good band that them what was it called? The guy wore a kilt. played the bagpipes, but they did like a reggae version of oh, what was it? It's one of those old standards, like Ave Maria or something. It wasn't that, but it was something like that. The hell was it? It's one of those huge tunes, like fucking Hallelujah or something. I forget what the fuck it was. But I actually bought a couple. But the day their last day was like there was people there crying and stuff. Not a ton, but I was there. I don't know if I went. I don't think I went. I might have because I actually have like two or three of their CDs because they were pretty good. But it's funny then. Like at least I saw the guitarist in like the next band that came in. It was supposed to be a total change. It was an older, probably a guy in his 40s or something. 50s, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, but the lead singer who played the bagpipes and the kilt, I guess he shows up in other places in Disney still. And then they had the band, and there's a band, British Revolution. What are they called now? There's a new band in England, but they're playing Clash, Stones, fucking Bohemian Rhapsody, really good. And the new band, they still do that, but I like the original one. They had a guy up there. He was one of the guitarists that was there every time, but he had the long flowing hair like a 70s with he just like looked the part. It was funny because you can't help think, but just like at 11:30 when he's going to get lunch at Tijuana Flats with the long hair and stuff. He had the whole costume on. That's tough. See, I never been able to do that. Even when I had hair and stuff, I never did any look. I tried it once. I was actually the first person, no lie, the first person to try and get a flat top so early, in fact, that the barber shop I was at, which was one more like one of my mom's sort of thing, but you did that when you were a kid. But they didn't even know how to do it. They didn't know what I was talking about, a flat top. And I had seen it. Arnold Schwarzenegger had one. I think it was probably Running Man or something, or Command. One of those. I was in high school. But they were like put mousse in my hair, and I was not that guy at all. It's like not like I was gonna go home and go to school the next day with put mousse in my. I think I did try it a little bit, but I felt I shit like yeah, I can't do shit like that. Never happened. I didn't mind. I don't mind not having the hair. Even this is a pain in the ass. It grows too fast. No, I would like to be hairless. I remember my dad when he died, fucking, or the last few years of his life, how long, like the hair on his arms and shit was so fucking long, dude. And as the last couple years of the old people when they're, you know, going downhill fast, when they just all their muscle goes away and their arms and shit shrink and the hair just looks even longer. It's fucking, it happens to all of us. We're sailing. It's really a nice, calm, but saily night. Sailing takes me away to where I always. Uh, did you know? I bet you don't know. But Christopher Cross, the guy who did that song Sailing, Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar, the famous Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar, that Christopher Cross originally owned that. Stevie Ray Vaughan bought it after Christopher Cross sold it. I think it was at South Austin Music. I bought a guitar there too. It was a surfboard shaped steel guitar, which I ended up basically giving to my buddy for weed. And then I bought a used lap steel instead, which I haven't learned to play yet. But It ain't no lie. 10:22. What are we gonna do? Getting ready for bed. I get up at 6:03. I feel like that was too much information. I don't like you get to the point like with today, you don't want to reveal anything about anything. It's like somebody asked me something like I hate when I have to call occasionally for work, like if the porta potty thing hasn't been emptied. We have like a portable office, where it's a air conditioned normal, well, one of those little portable offices. But they gotta fill the tank outside, and they keep fucking not coming on time, and it's out of water. But anyway, I get a call, and then they ask your name, and I'm like, "What do you need my name for?" Not I don't like that. It's like I play music on Sundays at this bar in Wauchula, Florida, Charlotte's Web Pub. Put my sets up on, my other channel, The Freakin' Howley, with the PH. But, they call me Music Man. I've been playing there. I think I started April of last year, so it's been over a year, and they just call me Music Man. I don't think they actually know my name, and I'm totally okay with that. I guess if I was a phenom on doing my music, they would know my name because you know, but they let me keep coming, but they don't, they just call me Music Man, which is nice, but I'm like, "You know what? I'm totally fine with not knowing my name." To the point where a lot of times if somebody calls me the wrong name, I do not correct them anymore. I'm like, "You know what? You can call me Kevin. No problem with that." Anonymity is what you going for. What I'm going for. I mean, unless I've written a couple songs. I've written like verse of like a lot more songs, a cool verse, but putting music to it and coming up with a verse or two more is I don't know. I've written more, like maybe more than a verse, maybe sometimes two verses. But it's really the music because I can play well enough but I get too self conscious about it just being like ADE or GCD or whatever, which is all you really need to do. And then you just keep playing your songs, and then all of a sudden some guy sits in with you who's really good, and he throws some licks on there, and then that's how hopefully it happens. But it's amazing the way a song can take shape, like from personal experience, but also I guess mostly listening to the Grateful Dead that enough with the live that I you see the evolution of songs where what at times like a line that seems forced or bulky, like you're just unsure how to sing the rhythm of it, the melody of it, how it finds its like estimated profit. I always think about that. How I guess it kind of came out pretty formed, but it's such an odd song, and Bobby just sang it so he was so good at that. And there's no better example to me than the Dead's version of when they did Stuck Inside a Mobile with the Memphis Blues again. He was just so good at field. It's like seven verses. And you got that, whoa, but he would build it so nicely. So by the last one, he's like, wow, mama. But he did it. It was just apt, you were it's amazing because I kind of didn't really like that when I was hearing them play it. And then later, as I listening to bootlegs, it became one of my favorite. And it also seemed to show up in a lot of their better shows that from the late, I think they only played it roughly from like 87 to 91 ish. But it seemed to, in shows that were considered really top notch, that was in there. And there does seem to be song like Dire Wolf seems to be in a high number of shows that are considered great or above average or something. And maybe there could be something to that, like they were just when they were feeling a certain randiness as a group, or they would go to certain songs. Maybe I think there could be some truth to that. But they were always aware. You wonder. You just wonder. They always knew. They never ended up playing Eyes of the World 2 shows in a row after, 1980 anyways or so. That kinda started the whole really paying attention to the songs not repeating. They kind of took that up right away, and especially into the as soon as the '70s started. But, I mean, Bobby had a limited number of songs for a while, and then, but also the Eyes of the World could show up. Usually, even in the early '70s, the big songs, like one night would be Dark Star, the next night would be the other one, would be the huge set to jam, and the other one would hook up with Truckin' or He's Gone a lot. Although He's Gone was debuted on '72 tour, they didn't hook those together till I don't know. But that became a famous duo or a common duo for a few years there, especially in '78 ish. He's Gone into the other one. And the other one used to sometimes be before drums, which it was kind of I was that didn't last long. It was usually out of space into the other one. What's the matter, big fella? Come here, darling. Oh boy. What's up, bud? He's a pain. He comes over and he'll like tug on me to pet him. Then I'll try and pull him close, and he pulls away. And then he comes right back. It's like he doesn't want to be held. He wants to be petted, but he doesn't want to feel like you're corralling him. Like holding him, penning him in. He's purring. What's up, bud? Billy White Shoes, my boy. His siblings are all up in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. He's got three of them. Then he's got four in here. All my cats are siblings, different dads. Well, two. I got two orange, which are probably the same dad. Two black, boy and a girl, which are probably the same dad. And then a tortoise shell, which the mother was a tortoise shell. But mine, Lola's a long hair. Beautiful, beautiful girl. The two girls, though, Angie and Lola, they're very skittish still. And they're in the middle. The two young boys, Donald and Zigaboo, a black and an orange. Those guys are the sweetest little cats, man. And Billy is too. He's the oldest. Probably, I don't know when he was born. He just if it was 20 or 19. No, it had to be 20. I don't know. I think the first time up it was not cool. I can't remember. But it was probably at least at the latest 20. So he's a good 6 years old. God, I forget when his birth. I think he was March. Yeah, March 26th. Then the two youngest, Zigaboo was born August 29th, and Donald was born August 30th. It was right at midnight. There was a third one too, and I put them all with the mother, and this was like her sixth litter with me, or fifth. And I came back in, and one of them was dead. I don't know if she rolled over on him or if he just died because he wasn't. Not sure what happened there. It was sad because I would have been fine with another one. But it's a good number. It's a good max. You know, I often say, just because you don't want to be considered too weird, I ended up with five cats whom I love dearly. I wouldn't have gone out and acquired 5 cats, I'm reasonable. But I ended up with them, and I gotta take care of them, and they're fun. I love 'em. It's good, you come home and usually a couple of them will come running into the door. The 2 boys and Lola. Ready for bed, buddy? So that's it, but we're gonna step up the quest for a cool job. I'm 57. I got a Bachelor of Arts in History, but I've never had a management job in my life. And I've never aspired to, despite the obvious, I just have never wanted to take that step. I guess I kind of was a lead technician on jobs, at working in major retail environments and successfully for several years. But my most enjoyment and I think success there was when I basically was working by myself. So I can't say I really led a team because when I had to lead a team, it was nothing but frustrating. Construction jobs, dude. It's the bottom of the barrel, the catch-all, as Adam Carolla says, and he's right. You usually got something wrong with you, and I'm not a drug addict or a criminal, but it's just attitude, I guess. But I mean, I'm 57 and I've always done something to shoot myself in the foot by, telling somebody eventually you're an asshole or fuck you or just being like, I'm not going to deal with this. So I don't know if it's just some sort of actual mental deficiency or I just really believe you should be able to really just enjoy your job. I don't know. I don't know if that qualifies. I just was never properly. I don't know. I was never able to just be like, this is what I want to do. I mean, I guess rock star. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. Rock star. I mean, would have liked to have made a living playing music, I guess, and writing songs. But I wasn't, and there's a little bit, I try and be careful here. I don't want to blame anybody, but I did want a guitar. And I eventually got them. But I wanted them at that 10, 11, 12-year-old thing, and I was just not encouraged in that direction at all, and I never lost that desire for that and the love for the music, and I can I think it's fair to just think, like, what the fuck a little bit about that, you know? I love playing sports, and that was the thing my dad pushed, and I believe in that, and I think it's good for every kid to grow up in that environment. So that's the only thing that I have any sort of bitterness because it's something that I would have liked to have. I mean, I think I personally, as I feel right now, I'm happy. I like to and I aspire to write. I've written a couple songs and I want to write more, and I am always writing. It's completing them is the thing. But I think I would have been happy just doing that, whether I was famous or not, if I could have made a living at it. And I'm still gonna try, but I'm still trying. I'm not pushing hard enough, but I guess it's a tough area. Like literally, I'm at about the closest place and it's 25 miles away. So it's just kind of sucked. Not exactly a tourist hotbed, but that's no excuse. But I just wish, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty good. You think about it a little bit and then you're like, well, you didn't. And I always wanted the guitar, but I don't remember ever being like I was never bitter about not getting it, I was like, "What the fuck?" But it wasn't like a lingering, simmering thing, you know? It was always more than occupied mentally and physically. But it just would have made a difference. Aloha yourself there. Oh, that's you know me. I'm like, fuck, somebody's saying aloha. That's cool. Aloha to you, brother. Did you hear though? I saw on the news, it just happened this week where a group of adults, it said, as well as teenagers, assaulted a kid in Hawaii, like beat him to near death, and apparently unprovoked. But either way, it was a group against one. This one kid, a lifeguard, jumped in and they beat him so bad. Like he said that he jumped in because they had this kid hogtied, like literally hands and legs behind his back. They were beating him. And this kid jumped in and they ended up like he had his eye orbital got broken. His just all sorts of fucked up. I mean, they fucked these kids up bad. And it pissed me off so much that because those fucking there's an angry contingent of fucking native Hawaiians out there that I commented, there's your true aloha spirit. Right? I know, buddy. What do you think, sweetie? I think my cat's got a little bit of I live in an RV. They stay in. And I think Billy's a bit stir crazy right now. The other cats seem to be handling it pretty well. But he's kind of just got this little circuit he does. It just seems like it's a bit of stir craziness. Like this, he'll come over, he'll meow, he'll tug at me to pet him, and then he'll get up, go over to right here, and then back to here. Whereas the other cats seem to be a little more free, randomly roaming. He seems to be caught in this little circuit. You okay, bud? It's Ziggy. Zigaboo. Zigaboo Modalisti. He's a cool cat. He's not even 2 yet. And his brother is obviously the same age. 10 minutes, this little miscreant. But he's still such a kitten. This guy is like he's 15 years old. It's pretty funny. It's what's the matter, sweetie? You okay, bud? But look at the markings on his head. The M. I read some stuff, but they got that marking, the M. See the M on his head there, and but they both got the exact in the eye. They got we're coming off the eye there. But see the M on his head there? He's got the same thing there. Beautiful cats. What do you think, bud? He's a good boy. He is a rock, but Ziggy's a little more. If Donald and his sister, the black Angie, they're always going at it. And Ziggy always is the one who runs over and kind of gets in the middle. Or he runs over anyway. He's the peacemaker. He is wise beyond his years, though, and he's very composed. Never, I've seen him go at it a little with his sister, but he's never even hissed at me. And he's always the one. He's right there on the pillow next to me. He comes in first, and then Billy will come in. The other three, the two girls, are never there. Donald's kind of all over the place. What's the matter, sweetie? Right here, bud. Yeah. What else is happening? What's up, sweetie? Amazing Grace. That's the song the band at Epcot from Canada used to play with the bagpipes, and they did like a reggae version of Amazing Grace. And it was good. I mean, you got to be good to play there. I mean, Mariachi Cobre, the mariachi band in Mexico, they've been there since there's a couple guys who've still been there since opening day. They're really good. And they got this band that plays at the special events in the Magic Kingdom called Rusty Cutlass. They play in pirate gear over by Pirates of Caribbean, but they're pretty good. And they play like more modern tunes and stuff. Rock, 70s and stuff and 80s, but don't take my cold cold away. Yeah, I don't know. I got to figure out some way to, I guess, contact YouTube support. I mean, I poked around on there trying to find the settings for that, and I never did find anything. I don't know. There's probably something in the studio, YouTube studio thing where there's probably a support right on the thing. Anyway, I got to do that. Just one of those things you don't want to start because next thing you know, just a pain in the ass. I mean, you're thinking of YouTube's worldwide. How good or how quickly is the service gonna react to you? You just don't want to jump in on that. I did troubleshoot the phone with Apple though, and it did not. It is not the phone. If you go on the freaking Howley, my sets are up there, and they were recorded on the phone, so it's not the speaker on the phone, which is even fucking bizarrer. Which is not a word, but we're making it one. Why isn't that a word? Bizarre. But it's apparently in the YouTube app. So I don't know if it's intentional. If I somehow did something because I erased my whole iTunes library accidentally, which is amazing to me that you could press the buttons to make that happen, never intentionally doing it. Maybe once, one to get it shaken or whatever. But I mean, it's gone from my phone. I had to redo the whole thing. I had to go into the I finally looked up how to do it. And I think I talked about this with my buddy, but one of those things, it was obvious once you looked, I had to go to the App Store and download Apple Music Library or something, which isn't all that you wouldn't think to do that. Why would you think that would be an app? Comes on your phone when you get it. So you're not like, oh, you go to the App Store, duh. But then when you get told that, you're like, yeah, I guess it maybe could have thought of looking there. I didn't though. And I kind of have a hard time actually conceding that you would have thought to think that. So I take that back. So all the things I've ever bought on iTunes are there, and I just have to just download them, and it happens in a second. But took me a while to finally figure out how to get it back on the screen, like the symbol for music library and shit. Oh, playing Heaven Help the Fool, and you can't hear it. So good. I was born Flatland, USA. All my dreams brought me to LA. Another case of rags to riches. I found out just ain't witches. Just exactly cool. Heaven help the fool. Got a place in Malibu. You never seen. Checking out your lady friends. Penthouse magazine. Gotta see the chrome wheels of my Maserati. So shiny and new. Oh, I'm the Jack of Diamonds. With all them, not a line of melody. Oh, not me. Not a final say. Oh, me. I'm a hyper survivor. Fast driver. I'm driving fool. Heaven help the fool. Hey, hey, hey! What the hell's going on over there? I was just singing Ziggy's praises, and he's over there fucking swiping full cat fury at his sister. Ziggy, what's the matter, buddy? You okay? Angie, Angie, Angie. I still love you, baby. Oh, Shadooby. Oh, Shadooby. Sha. Don't you know they primates going up, 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 up? Look at me. My baby's island. All right. Well, that's it. That's it. That's it. We're on a quest to find a job that doesn't suck, no matter what it is. I know it can exist. Yeah, it is fucked up. But it does sound like the sort of thing you can program something to. I don't know, dude. Maybe some person did it. I don't know. Maybe I said so. I do say some shit, but I just believe in freedom. No matter how stupid you say what is, like for people to get upset by what other people say, I don't. I think I'm immune from that because I don't really care. Like you can say whatever you want to say about me to me, and I'm probably not even going to notice. So I could care less. Uh, so for people to get mad and like report you or complain about you or want to kill you is crazy. But we all know that is the world we live in. That's what I was thinking about with you know what sucks about AI? And I don't know, I think I might have nailed it, but it's something that you have to accept whether you like it or not. It's coming and it's going to be involved with all you do, whether you like it or not. Like you can literally live like in a city and never get a car and never want to get a car. So no matter how revolutionary you think the car was to society, and it was, you can still live successfully, and many people do in a big city without ever getting a car. And you can even argue that the smartphone is not. There's people who do very well with just sticking with an old flip phone or even a landline. Probably a handful, but AI is just shit you have to do in life, and that's going to be involved in it, and you have no choice. And I think that just that whole aspect of it, you just don't, and you don't know what it's doing exactly and what it's capable of doing. We all think we're not like who gives a fuck what I do or say, you know? But I said something, I left a comment on Tucker Carlson that I'm like, I swear to God, my phone started getting hotter faster after that. As in something got put in there. Cause yeah, like you just like think about there's that video of the ICE detention shit in New Jersey with the guy threatening to kill the family of the ICE agents. I gotta be honest with you, I can see myself saying something like that. Not to an ICE agent, but I can see me saying that to a referee in a hockey game or something. And I'm not even kidding. Shit like that would happen back in the day, dude. It's fucking no, dude. You don't have to just accept it, man. That's just that's the difference. Yeah, it's paying off for you more than my take or my. Don't play those games. It doesn't matter what you say. None of that matters. You can't. That's why I get a kick out of like even in for people you hate. Like most of us are gonna dislike the guy running in Maine. The Democrat there. He has the Nazi tattoo and he's. But I don't know. I had some good. I lost it. I've been smoking weed. Think it had something along the lines of but then when it's your side, sort of thing. Not sure though. It's irrelevant. It's all irrelevant is the sad part. I don't say that in any um woe is me way. I mean just that's why I get a kick out of the fact like what kind of asshole, no matter what you said to somebody online, to ever go report him to the teacher is just so fucking pathetic. You know? I think of the worst thing you could say. Whatever racial, ethnic, fucking any slur of every string them all together. You should still just laugh. If you can't do that, you are a loser. And I hope you kill yourself. Is that bad to say that? I'm just kidding. But that should be all right. If that offends you, you are a loser. I'm just some fucking stupid guy saying stupid shit intentionally to see if you can handle somebody saying stupid shit intentionally. You know what happens? That's what happens. You can't do a hit of weed like you you can get so stoned that you're like I'm fucking beaming right now almost. I can't go to bed. That looks cool. You see that? See the cat, his chest. There's a candle right behind him. What's the matter, buddy? You would just look so peacefully asleep, then you're up and going. "Meow." What are you doing? What does that say? 70 plates? What is that symbol? I've seen that before. I don't know what it is. What is that? Plates? Juggling plates? Why isn't there a juggling plates emoji? Or is there? I don't know, but I got in trouble. I got written up at work. Get this, dude. Are you still on there? I butt dialed, and I've this has happened too many times. I have a work phone, an iPhone, and I butt dialed, dude. And dude, I butt dialed and was on a rant, like fucking, saying the shit. And this fucking douchebag I work with brought it to the manager or whatever. Now you're written up. But I mean, I was on there saying, you fucking, there's too many fucking. I'm not even. He played it for me, but I couldn't understand it. I mean, just because of the shit going on, I was speaking clearly. But I find that if I don't care, I don't care. I know probably legally it being a work phone, I have no recourse. But as a man to do what he did without coming to me first and being like, what the fuck? Or, it might have been contentious, but still to just go, that was basically, I was like just speaking out loud to myself, you know? I do that. I work by myself in a yard and I fucking will just kind of work shit out, and sometimes be like, what the fuck, and It's not like a condemnation for all time when you're saying it, but you might be mad about something. And that doesn't come across when some douchebag does something like that, you know? But I survived it anyways, but, it was a tough weekend because that happened Friday where I kinda got into it with this guy, and then I had didn't really know my fate till Monday. But then you have no idea. It's like 90 something degrees with 150% humidity every day, and I'm outside. I mean, as soon as you take 3 steps, it's just complete drenched sweat for me. Like the wet kind where your nipples are rubbing wet, you know? And I'm like, but I couldn't imagine working in an office. I have a couple short stints, but I wouldn't even want it. There's gotta be something out there for me. But anyway, all right, yeah, I go to bed. It is eating me alive, though. I need to find something where I can live in a cool place, and I don't need too much. Live pretty just comfortably, but just this ain't it, unfortunately. I don't mind like the place. They got a nice pool. Weather's, it's Florida weather. I don't have any shade, unfortunately, but it's in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, the closest bar is, well, there's a couple in town, but unfortunately they didn't want me to play. I did play a couple times at a couple of places. uh, But the options are much fewer than obviously on the coast. There's just something about the water. Nighttime, breeze, mornings in the beach. Everybody when you're on the coast, everybody wants to be there. There ain't nobody if you're on the coast, you're not there against your will because it's too expensive. You can't like end up living there kinda. Everybody there wants to be there, you know? It's like Garuba or something. But then, yeah, I don't know. There are no easy answers. Easy answers. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Check out the freaking Howley. I got to get 13 more subscribers on that channel. That's Phreakin, little apostrophe thing. Howley, Haole. And then just want to see if I can stream and the microphone will work, basically. I've had 37 followers for like 2 years now. So let's go. Let's go. Aloha.